Greetings and welcome to the Ripple Effect. I am Selena. So today's topic is about friendship. I didn't put up a short today, so this is just going to be the video of today. But I wanted to talk about friendship and how we as women need to be more accountable in our friendships and being able to support our fellow sisters. And I don't mean sisters just to say culture wise, but the women that we come in contact with, and to try and be a light to the younger ladies that we have influence with. And so I'm going to talk about not necessarily a testimony, but something that recently happened in my life. So I used to work at this job with a particular lady, and I'll just say Sally for the sake of not saying her real name. And so I worked with her for a number of years. And so it was pretty much just, hey, how you doing? Sometimes we used to get a little bit deeper and talk about our family and things of that nature. But I felt a spirit about her, and I'm not sure if she's ever going to see this, but anyway. So it didn't really seem genuine. I just know that to me, her spirit about her seemed to be very gossipy, seemed to be one to tear down another sister in the sense of just how she presented herself. And I'm very much one to, once I sense that, then okay, that's who you are. I'm not gonna necessarily judge you, but I'm also not gonna connect my life to you. And feels that, God warns us to be careful of the company that we keep. And so the other day, I got a text message, and it had said like, Selena, like, hey, like, I miss you, something like that. Now the number wasn't saved, so I didn't know who it was. And if your number's not saved, that means I haven't talked to you in at least a 30-day cycle, okay? And so I had to go back into the chat to figure out who it was. So I think I had a text message from this person like a year and a half ago or 6 months ago. So when I looked at the text message, I realized that it was her, the girl I used to work with, Sally. I think that's the made-up name I said. And first of all, you miss me? Do you really? And like, I'm not the one for the phony baloney. So I tried Petty out just for a moment in time. Okay, so like, hey girl, miss you too. And she asked like how I'm doing. Like, God is doing wonderful things in my life, which He is. And so she texts back, like, God's doing things in my life, and I missed you and the conversations that we used to have, and I knew it was, I think, God orchestrated, something along those lines. And then she was like, she wanted to invite me to hang out, something like that, lunch or something, okay? So this is where it gets interesting for me, okay? Now, I'm very much ride or die, as they say. If I'm your friend, we really friends. I really rocks with you, as they say. Now, I have a limited circle of friends because not everybody is a friend. Some people are acquaintances, co-workers, associates. I don't say that necessarily co-workers are friends because they're not, hence the name co-workers. A friend is someone I'm talking about my life with, I'm divulging secrets with, if you can be my secret keeper. Someone who I feel a bond with and a connection with, and we're walking in sync together. And I'm not expecting friendship, I'm not expecting total commitment, or I guess commitment in a sense, but what I expect is honesty and integrity. Like, I'm not one for the pettiness, just to say I miss you and it's not real and it's not true. So I tried it out to say like I miss you back, and I didn't like it. I don't have time for the pettiness because time is finite. Okay, I don't have time to be wasting talking about things that aren't necessarily going to move me forward. And so when she talked about inviting me out, so I just said like, thanks for the invite, because it seemed rather strange. Because before I tell the conclusion of this story, I had worked with this individual for 5 years. 5 years. And in that time, there was never a text message like, hey, let's hang out. I miss you. I miss our talks. There was never that exchange. And so if I'm really honest and tell the real truth, I no longer work at this establishment, okay? And so the time that I left the job, there was no text message. There was no phone call. There was nothing when she knew I wasn't working there. Okay, so that was just strange to me anyway, because if we so tight, you miss me so much, why wasn't there a conversation then? And if you have the question, like, why didn't I reach out? Why didn't I? Because like I told you, she was a co-worker. Okay, and so for me, if I'm going to offer up my friendship and be in relationship with another woman, it needs to be something that is productive, also godly. Because there are people that you involve in your life that can change the trajectory of your life in a negative way. And I didn't want that necessarily to be a part of my life. So when she asked me, and I told her, like, thanks for the invite. And I said, did you move out this way? Because I knew she had lived in another town. And so what I don't like is when I ask a question, you don't respond with another question. So the question she posed back, like, are you still, I think she listed town where I say, which I ain't going to say because there could be crazy people on the internet. And she asked, like, do I still stay there? And I'm just like, why are you responding, with a question? And it just annoyed me. I know for some people that might not have annoyed them, but for me it did, because I asked you a simple question. Do you still stay where you stay? And why are you going to ask me, do I still stay where I stay? Like, it just seems stupid and ridiculous. So the best way that I can deal with that, don't worry about it. Let me go ahead and help you exit out of Lena land. You don't need to be a part of my life, because I don't have time for this foolishness. Because if you were so concerned about being my friend, about having friendship, we knew each other for 5 years. Why would you wait a year and a half later? Or, yeah, I think a year and a half later, if not 6 months, I think I had talked to her. But it was something related to the job. She had came to the job and I was not there because I was no longer working there. Anyway, came to the job and asked about, like, where I was or whatever. And, like, okay, you didn't see me there, nothing really in depth. But the way the gossip mill works, I'm sure she knew I wasn't working there anymore. And I apologize for the music that you hear in the background. I have some very disrespectful neighbors. But anyway, the point I'm making is, when you are wanting to be in a friendship with someone, at least be honest. If she had said, hey, like, I lost your phone number, whatever it was, life got in the way, I would have been more understanding, instead of trying to pick up right where you thought we left off on, in the lines of friendship. Because one thing I know, when I'm in my prayer closet, okay, and I have prayed about a person and their spirit about them. There was a check that I got my spirit about Sally, okay? And it wasn't good. And I did not want to expose my life deeper to someone who I felt maybe did not have the best of intentions for me. I don't know what it was, and I did not care to have that conversation, because I don't owe anyone that. This is my life, and I choose who I want to be a part of it. And if our friendship was so important, then you should have invested time in it, just like I could have. But as I told you, that was not an avenue I wanted to go down. And sometimes, ladies, we make the mistake of investing in a person when we know from the beginning that it's not something that we should necessarily be involved in. We can feel that check in our spirit, the intuition God has given us. And we feel that, hey, even relationship-wise, this particular guy that we're talking to, we probably shouldn't go in deeper in the relationship. But sometimes we press past that mark just to see, like, I don't know, maybe it'll turn out good, maybe something positive will come out of it. But when God has given us that warning, and I did not want to ignore it, because I did not know what this lady had on her mind. Could have been good intentions, I don't know. That's not the particular feeling that I got. Whatever it was, I wanted no parts of it. And I did not want someone to be a part of my life, to get closer to me, to gain more access where they can do more harm. And that should be a warning to us when we are engaging in friendships, if someone is really that close to you. Because I know people have a very different definition of friendship. But if you're engaging in a friendship with someone, at least be honest. Give them a level of integrity. I'm not one, this is just my personal life, I'm not one to sit around gossiping, talking about women, what they have, what they don't have, whose relationship or whatever. I may talk about a person and be like, okay, I might need to pray for them, or if I see something in general that I'm talking about, but that's not something that every time I'm meeting with you, you're talking about someone else, because all I know is you showing up talking about me when I'm not around. And if that's the spirit that you have upon you, sneaky and dishonest and wanting to pull down someone else, that's not something I want in my life. And we grown. I think we're around the same age. She might have got me by a year or two, but we grown. And in that time, in the time that we have known each other, that we have worked together, it just shocked me that all of a sudden, after this time, now you want to be my friend, now you want to get to know me. And like I said, that's a warning also in relationships. When you ain't talked to a gentleman, what I'll call him, if he is or not, who knows. But if you haven't talked to him in a while, 3 months, 6 months, don't let it be a year. Some ladies, some of us, okay, will pick up the phone after you ain't talked to this person in a year or 6 months. Like, what changed? Are you I guess maybe you're single now, maybe, because some of them aren't always, and you're just checking in. But going in reverse, I cannot. No, es bueno. I cannot. I refuse. So if you have not been in contact with this person for a while, you need to get in your prayer closet and find out, okay, like, why are they here now? What's going on? And this is not to say that every time someone comes back in your life, it's for malintentions. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is get in your prayer closet and figure it out before you just allow someone back into your circle. Because there are sometimes people come back in our circle because they see you living well. You have survived whatever trauma they may have put you through. And they may be coming back because they're jealous or because they want to harm you. And I don't necessarily mean, first 48 harm, although it's out there. But I'm just saying, if you're allowing someone back into your life and you're not knowing necessarily why. Granted, God does bring people into our lives. But if I'm under the impression and I feel an unction in my spirit that God has not sent you, then you must get the Timberland boot. I can't have you be a part of my life, and I can't, if I got to vacillate and figure out, are you in here for good or evil? No, let me close that door for you. And if it's meant to be, God will make a way. So this is just to encourage you, ladies, that when you're engaging in friendships or associations, co-workers, just be careful about who you allow around you in your circle, in your spiritual of life, especially who you allow to be around your children. So that's it for today, ladies. Don't forget to look up my new website, calmforsinglemoms.com. And thank you so much for watching.